And we are alive, everyone. Hello, America. Doors are wide open. We're ready for you to virtually come in and be a part of the conversation with us tonight. Thank you for joining us here at Gay Town Hall, where we're bringing LGBTQ voices into the discussion and debate and advertising you with America's most diverse group of personalities from the LGBTQ community in history. I'm your moderator, David Quiñones, also known as the Social Club Butterfly. I serve as the executive director of my own personal nonprofit organization, GVSC, Gay Vista Social Club, here building friendships across South Florida, as well as the director of community and business outreach at It's Happening Out television network, because if it's happening in the LGBTQ world, it is happening out. We here at Gay Town Hall want you to join the conversation with us live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. as we broadcast to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and coming soon to LinkedIn. Let's get tonight's discussion and debate started, America, here on Thursday, January 28th. Welcome, everyone, to Gay Town Hall. All right, so let's get this show going. I am thrilled to welcome Gay Town Hall's lead host for tonight's conversation. He, they is a two-spirit poet, artist, filmmaker, and environmentalist from the Otter clan of the Miccosukee tribe. Art, conflict management, multimedia communications, gender diversity, and spirituality are priorities that he contributes via local, regional, and international organizations. He invites you to join him in creating portals between worlds. He, they loves the Everglades movement, serves on the board of Unity Coalition, the Miccosukee Tribe's Environmental Advisory Committee, and on the advisory board for the Climate Crusader, as well as the FIU Global Indigenous Forum. Their best attribute is they're willing to party with anyone. Their worst attribute is they can be too serious at times. Let's please welcome to Gay Town Hall's virtual stage our two-spirit gay Native American, Houston Cypress. Hey, Houston.
Kinga, chigacha. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight, David Quiñones, and all across America. It's a pleasure to be with you. Join the party.
And look at that beautiful shirt. What are you wearing? Show it off. What do you got on?
Thank you. Thank you. It's a bit of like sparkling floral effervescence. Thank you very much.
Well, in your honor tonight, I did wear, a little floral print. Got my little outdoors hat, keep the sun and the shade out and everything. So tell us a little bit more about you, and tell us what's on your mind for today.
Thank you, David. I've been really happy to be getting involved in a little bit more film work these days. So be on the lookout for some film projects that I'm going to be producing. But what's on my mind these days is that here in Florida, there's an environmental and indigenous solidarity crisis going on. So feel free to reach out to me to learn more about what's going on with Lake Okeechobee, the Florida Everglades, and how you can support indigenous leaders in direct actions. So come on through.
All right, that sounds good. So with that said, let's go ahead and meet the rest of tonight's hosts that make up our top voices of the week. It's time to kick off Gay Town Hall the way we always do and find out what's on everyone's mind. So with that said, we are going to go ahead and bring all of our hosts in one by one and tell us about, good or bad, in just 30 seconds, what is on your mind. And in honor of Houston today and his love of the great outdoors, tell us what's your favorite thing to do outside or your favorite outdoors activity. So up first, we're going to welcome our gay guru, and he is the lead anchor on Q News Tonight. Let's please welcome Al Ferguson to the stage. Hey, Al.
Hi, good evening. What's on my mind this week is the exciting news of a big new survey for the LGBTQ community. A new survey has been done over the Biden executive orders, two big LGBT executive orders this week. And a new survey shows that 83% of Americans completely support Joe Biden's moves in LGBT community in the executive orders to support equality issues, especially the extension of the Supreme Court decision, which is super exciting. It bodes well in terms of what's going to happen over the next 4 years for our community. And my favorite outdoor activity is to the mountains. I like being in the mountains. I guess growing up in Florida, it is a natural for me to like it, but I like to get into the mountains at every opportunity I can.
All right, thank you so much, Al. Up next, we have our hedonist and philanthropist here at Gay Town Hall. Let's please welcome David Hopkins, everyone. Hey, David.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, as a true hedonist, there's definitely things I like to do outdoors. You know, like camping, fishing, kayaking, hiking. What do you think I meant? No, I've always loved the outdoors. I lived in Maine as a kid, and, you know, I used to go through the woods, camping, hunting, gathering berries. You know, nature's amazing.
All right, and what's on your mind for today?
What's on my mind is the upcoming Happening Out's travel show that'll be premiering on Monday, so you can explore new places outdoors with us. So stay tuned. We're going to have some great travel packages to help you see the world.
All right, thank you so much. Up next, we have our queer minister at Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest progressive queer church. Let's please welcome Reverend Dr. Jarrell Watkins. Hey, Jarrell, hey.
Hey, everybody. My favorite thing to do outdoors is, especially during the pandemic, is just live. I'm living outside these days. We have a big deck behind our house, and I pray, I work, I socialize, I drink, and I drink, and I drink, all there on our back deck. So back deck living is my favorite thing to do outside these days. And since our topic tonight, what we're focusing on for the hour is Earth, Wind, and Fire, what's on my mind is actually these words of Jesus. Body Yah, say do you remember? Body Yah, dancing in September. Body Yah, never was a cloudy day.
So are you saying, Reverend, that you're thirsty tonight?
Is that what I said?
we're clarifying for the audience with that big deck of yours.
Yeah,
right.
Nick Bethany is commenting on your big deck, by the way, in the chat thread.
So. Up next, we have our non-cultural identity living at Sawmills Camp and Resorts, a place that is very much about the outdoors. Let's please welcome John Holt, everybody. Hey, John.
Hey, John. Good evening. What's on my mind this week is I've been watching the White House briefings on YouTube. It's been fabulous. Someone who can speak a full sentence that makes sense and can answer tough questions and tells the truth. So I'm very happy about that. My outdoor activity was I was by the Sawmill pool and met a good-looking guy the other day. And we happened to start talking about politics. And he let me know that he thought that the riot was a false flag for Antifa. So I'm not sure the relationship's going to work out.
Oh, dear.
So was the deal breaker about climate change, or will you see this friend again?
Well, he's pretty good looking. I may have to see him for short periods of time.
In the trails.
All right, so they're going to go for a midnight stroll, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, up next is our hybrid DJ diva and a political activist. Let's please welcome the fabulous Power Infinity, everyone. Hey, Power.
What's going on? Hi, everybody. I'll say what's on my mind is the saying, when it's peace in your home, it's not hard to stay at home. So for me, this pandemic has really been something that hasn't been too taxing, but I do look forward to grabbing that dinner that Al owes me.
Cody.
I'm inviting everybody on. It's happening out and Gay Town Hall. Al has said he'll pay for you guys too. On the other hand, what I like to do outside is find a nice trail and take in nature, take it all the way down.
Take it all.
Take it all the way down.
How deep does the trail go, Power?
Well, let's just say I hold the world record. So yeah, that's what I like to do. That's my outdoor fun.
And Chris Rock is going to be here all week, by the way, all week.
So Houston, make sure you explore Power's trail whenever you get a chance on your time off. All right. Up next is our actor and drama queen. Let's please welcome Rossaroni's. Let's see if he is busy at the moment. Hey, Rossaroni.
No. Am I still single? No. Yes. Hi. Let's see. My favorite outdoor activity. I have two. One is, nude beaches. Love them. Thrilling, and then I have a yearly obsession with crocodiles, and so I have been desiring strongly to go down to the southernmost tip of the Everglades to find one and just look at it. That's it. So that's also on my mind. It's kind of like a both.
Rossaroni, I am here to recruit you.
Rossaroni gets the two for one special. 2 for 1 special. All right, and we got, what is it? We get 25 cents every time we say it. Our Progressive College English professor, Mr. Dr. Ty Hauser, a.k.a. Young Robert's biggest fan, everyone. Hey, Ty, hey.
Yay, Young Robert. Yay, Young Robert.
And to think, the episode that Robert was on, you weren't here, Ty.
I know, I felt so bad. Young Robert, you have to come back so that I can
try to surprise you, and this is how you repay us.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm just going to get right to it. My two favorite activities outdoors. The first one, you might not know this, I go to Switzerland every year to hike in the Alps because that's the only thing that clears my head. So like a day out at 10,000 feet is one of the best things I do. And then here in Florida, I love to sea kayak. So if anyone wants to like grab a kayak and go out, I'm down.
Okay.
All right. So would you say you're good at rocking the boat, Ty?
I don't tip the boat over, but I definitely rock the boat.
Boo!
That was good.
All right.
And Angie, we love you too.
All right, so for our final host of the night, tonight I'm happy to welcome our past alive video questionnaire to come onto Gay Town Hall tonight as our special guest host. She is a Bravo TV top chef and the master of the popular champagne, oyster, and celebration restaurant, Bubbles and Pearls, Champagne Raw Bar, here in the heart of the famous Wilton Drive, the gayest place on planet Earth. She is also the founder of CTBS Coaching, creating results and empowering youth. Her focus is on using food to build community, deliver healthy food solutions to underserved neighborhoods, and eradicate hunger in our lifetime. Let's please welcome our past alive video questionnaires, tonight's special guest host, and she's also on It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay TV show every Wednesday night. Let's welcome Chef Josie into the house. Hey, Josie.
Hey. Pew, pew, pew.
We got a first timer here. So Josie, tell us what's going on. How are you?
Hey, what's up, boys? How you doing? All right. Well, so I think you want to know what's on my mind, but I think you also want to know what I like to do outdoors. So I'm going to give it to you both ways, okay?
Ooh.
Since we have this two-spirit happening in here. All right.
Yes, please.
So outdoors, guys, outdoors for someone like me who is, very, very busy. Being outdoors is my safe haven. It's the place where I get to let my hair down and be myself and relax and escape into Gaia, into Mother Nature, into the universe, into life, and listen to only what's between me and my mind. So I love being outdoors, and there's just so many things you can do outdoors. What's on my I'm reading these. We don't do this on It's Happening Out, reading comments. That's so cute. What's on my mind tonight is, God, just how grateful I am. I am so grateful for my life, and we're going to get into it later, but I'm so grateful for my life, my community, my family, my people, my tribe, and I'm so grateful for all of you guys out there in the world. the world is moving in the right direction once again, and I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Josie is preaching to the choir, everyone. All right. Let's give a round of applause for our special guest tonight, Chef Josie. She's going to be the voice of reason with us here. All right, America. These are our top 10 voices for tonight. So let's jump right into our show for today. All right. So here on Gay Town Hall, you may have questions, and we definitely want to hear and see your answers. We want you, our social media viewing audience, to let your voice be heard and weigh in on what we're talking about. It's time for our weekly Gay Town poll. So all of our hosts have casted their votes already, I think. For our viewers watching to cast your vote in, click on the link that's posted in tonight's episode and submit your answer. Later on, before the end of the show, we will share the results visually on the screen and see which was the winner. So make sure to cast your votes for tonight's Gay Town poll. So tonight's Gay Town poll is, what is your top LGBTQ destination to travel to experience the great outdoors? Choices are Anchorage, Alaska, Asheville, North Carolina, the Berkshires, Massachusetts, Blue Ridge, Georgia, Boulder, Colorado, Bozeman, Montana, Hudson, New York, Lost River, West Virginia, Salt Lake City, Utah, I'm going to mess this up, Umpqua National Park, Oregon. So what do you guys think is going to be the number one choice in our Gay Town poll tonight for outdoor locations for LGBTQ?
Umpqua.
Hudson.
Asheville.
I'm going to have to go Asheville, but I love that, David, you were confused about Berkshires and where they were located. Only someone from South Florida wouldn't know the Berkshires.
I was disappointed that was the only New England option.
I only know the Berkshires because that's where the Real Housewives of New York City would go to.
I wasn't familiar with any of it, so I just my answer. I didn't really.
But you said Massachusetts properly, so I like that you said Massachusetts. No T. I love that. You did say Massachusetts right.
Hey, no tea,
no shade. Hudson, New York is the place to be. You know, that's where you have a little bit of wine and food, lots of food and outdoors. And if you go at the right time of the year, the leaves are changing. It's beautiful. There's cabins. There's wildlife. It's just like, whoa.
And if you go at the right time of the night, you'll see Ty and John pop up from behind the bushes and be like, hello.
Hopefully different bushes, or that's a side-eye camera.
Well, hopefully they're two separate bushes because they're sisters, everyone. They're sisters. All right, so find out what the answer is going to be on Gay Town Hall for our Gay Town poll at the end of the episode. With that said, let's jump into our show with our first LGBT topic of the week. So today's LGBT topics of the week deal with 3 important forces of nature that are important to Houston's life. And that is earth, wind, and fire. And if anybody wants to sing the song from them, feel free to go ahead. We can't play the real song because then we'll get shut down and we don't have
because the fourth one is only important when it runs clear.
All right. Bunch of cats out there. All right. So our first topic of the night is lifestyle and cultural. And lifestyle and cultural is about earth, queers and conservation and nature. And I am going to let Houston, our lead host tonight, take us through Mother Earth and tell us a little bit more about this topic. So Houston, take it away.
All right, friends and family across America. I am here for queers in conservation and nature. So check it out. I mean, like, we all know that gays have been lurking in the woods in incredible numbers these days. And I'm not just talking about your regular cruising in the park or along the hiking trails. Like, we're in the pandemic these days, and people have been enjoying recreation activities in record numbers in the past 20 years. But our queer community has an incredible connection to nature since time immemorial. And what do I mean? Well, like, are you a pagan? Are you honoring Pan? Pan, if you don't already know, is that horny god in the woods.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman? Or are you involved in conservation organizations that protect Mother Earth? Well, our queer ecological knowledge is just what the world needs these days. So let's dive in, friends and family, about the shenanigans, about the mythology, and let's uplift some of our queer green role models. So let me know, friends and family, about your adventures in the woods. What you got going on? Tell us the tea.
Into the woods we go, everyone. So let's talk about Earth, queers, and conservation and nature. Who wants to get this party going?
Well, so you brought up Walt Whitman, and I'll go right to Walt Whitman because there is a moment in the Calamus poems that I absolutely love, and I hope that someday I get to recreate it. It's a bunch of men floating naked in a lake, and Whitman writes, "He soused me with spray." And I was thinking, that sounds great. I want to be soused with spray.
I love it. I love it. So tell me more about some of the things that bring you out in the woods. Like what calls you? What seduces you?
I love the woods in general, years of being pagan. And talking about mythology, I have always identified with the satyrs, part of being a hedonist. They do like their indulgences and their exploits in the woods. So if anybody wants to be a nymph or a dryad and do some role play, let me know.
I really appreciate that because like even though like we're here in this situation, like we've had some difficult situations with like established religions like Christianity and so on, but like we can dive back into the things that connects us to earth traditions, and that's why I brought up Pan, and I really appreciate you bringing the whole pagan influence. But what are the things that bring you out into the woods, out into nature? Tell me some more.
This guy dressed in black, sunglasses and a mask.
I'd love to share, because I was living in San Francisco, and when I lived in San Francisco, going, north of, the San Francisco Bridge, okay, the Golden Gates, and we would go past and then hang out in the redwood forest and hang out in the hot springs. And let me tell you something, there's nothing that connects you with Mother Earth and something higher than yourself when you're in nature and you're standing below these ancient trees, really, and the mass. These trees are so big, and I won't get sidetracked, but the reality of it is that it's when you're standing in nature, in earth, whether you're in the ocean, whether you're in the forest, wherever you are, it makes you recognize how very small we are as human beings. We're just a piece of this grand universe, and so, oh man, it's the peace that lures me into nature.
I agree. Nature is humbling and grand.
I mean, like Josie, like you're dropping these big keywords, like big and massive. Like, are you like a secret size queen?
I don't think it's a secret.
It ain't that secret, girl. Okay, it ain't that secret.
For what it's worth, two observations. While we in the LGBTQ community talk about our embracement of nature, we haven't done as good a job of talking about it, of actually doing it. A couple of examples. Our Traveler did a survey of the LGBTQ community, and a very small percentage, under 5% of our community, have visited at least 5 national parks, as example. We are much more urban, we're much more indoor, we're much more circuit party, we're much more dance floor than nature, which is one of the reasons I think this topic is so outstanding. Second, interesting example. In 2010, and of course John lives there, he knows. In 2010, I was part of the organization of making Sawmill the first not-for-profit gay co-op in America. And Sawmill sits on 200 acres. It's a naturalist place. One encouraging thing is, and in 2010, we weren't sure that it would be completely successful, a gay campground, outdoors, etc. An interesting thing has happened over the last decade. Sawmill is way, way more popular today than it was 10 years ago when we made it the first gay co-op in America. And it's an indication that the gay community is embracing beyond our urban neighborhoods, Wilton, Castro, Boys Town in Chicago, etc. Camping, for example, is one of many, many choices that are becoming more and more popular today to get out and about, to be in nature. It's just a lot of our community doesn't realize that maybe they're being left behind. There are other choices than our dance floors and our major clubs.
I agree.
I would also like to add that some of that is about how who our groups of friends are. Like when I was in college, my roommate was a lifelong Girl Scout. She really had been a Girl Scout her whole life, and then her first 10 years of professional life was with the Girl Scouts of America. And so she took me camping a lot, and all of her friends were lesbian, and they all camped. And so I have a lot of wonderful queer memories of queer camping. It wasn't for me very sexy, maybe for my friends who were, my lesbian friends, maybe they were having a great time in that department. But this connection with nature was a very queer, and there was this whole world of it out there. And so when I think of, I think maybe gay men are very urban or whatever. But if you haven't had some camping friends that you spend a lot of time with in the woods, you missed out on something. It's never too late. Get in on that.
Jarrell,
memories are of that.
Jarrell, that's a really Dr. Ty Hauser is all at Twitter right now that you mentioned that, because he too has been a lifelong Girl Scout. And
I did not
put your pants tied.
David, can you put up Allison's
so Allison was bringing up the point. When was the last time each of you all went camping?
And I'd like to answer.
Sure, go ahead.
So the last time I went camping was when I was a little kid. Child, who's laughing already?
Who's laughing?
I didn't get to the finish line yet, bitch. Okay, so the last time I went camping was when I was a little kid. And actually, when I went camping, we didn't have cell phones back then. We went camping in tents. We had to make our own tents. I went with my church, and my church had a kind of like a scout group called Pathfinders. And so we had to build our tents. We built our own fires. We went on hay rides. We had s'mores, and it was such a really bonding experience with nature. And it's something that I'll never forget. The smells of nature, the sensations that you get when you're out there is really something that sticks with you. And that's a striking difference between then and then my other adult nature experiences, where literally I have been in cruising situations where the police have come and I've had to run. Not exactly.
Are we talking running barefoot, or are the shoes still on?
Wait, on behalf of Fox News, I've got to call fake news, because Power Infinity has actually been camping since then. 2.5 years ago, he and I launched It's Happening Out Together. I believe David Hopkins was also present.
I wasn't
and
there,
we camped. Oh, okay. We camped at Sawmill.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Power was the queen of the campground.
No, in fact, I wasn't. As a matter of fact, you guys have some type of crickets. I think it's called cicadas or whatever.
Cicadas.
Yes, and I was really, really scared of them. And I remember Napoleon gave me a bracelet, which I still have today, that he said if I wore it, it would keep the cicadas away.
Child, how gullible can you be?
Way to break the stereotype, Power.
I thought nothing would scare Power. I'm surprised. Real quick before we go back to Houston, from a conservation standpoint, how especially with what's going on in the world and everything, how important is it for conservationists and for those type of things to exist out there, and what can the queer community do to really get more involved in that? Does anyone have anything they would like to add in terms of?
I do.
Go ahead, Bernie.
Tell everybody to pick up after their trash after each Pride event.
Thank you.
I am sick and tired of seeing condoms unused lying around. If they use them, it's whatever. But I'm not picking that up. I feel like
Ronnie didn't use it. You don't want to see it.
No, I'm not gonna use that. Just kidding. No. I'm sick of all these gays they're all on Grindr going, oh yeah, my favorite hobby is hiking. Like, first of all, you're in Florida. Second of all, when's the last time you got? They don't really follow up with that.
Mask for mascara.
There are some really good trails here in Fort Lauderdale at Hugh Tillerberg State Park if you want to do some hiking through nature. I love it.
I'm sorry, I just always associated hiking with going upwards or downwards. That's
the landfill. You can hike at the landfill.
There's walking in nature. The hiking, I always feel like you need like a stick or something to hold on to.
Well, but listen, guys, you know what the reality is here? Let me just tell you one thing. The reality is that we're talking about a real serious subject. And I know everyone thinks I'm the one who likes to have all the fun. But the reality about the environment and conservation and our responsibility as an LGBTQ community, involving ourselves in that conversation, we think it doesn't have anything to do with us, but it does, you know, because all of us, whether we have children or not, okay, or we're growing families of our own, we have nieces and nephews. There's an entire generation who is going to inherit this planet when we're done with it, okay? And it is our responsibility as stewards of the planet to take care of it, to ensure that the next generation is able to inherit a planet that they can work with, that they can live on. And you know, this is really what it comes down to. You know, whether we want to have fun and we want to fuck in the bushes, like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But while we're there will be no bushes for us to fuck in the future. For all the young gays out there, whatever your motivation is, it's time for us to like stay connected to our environment for sure.
Well, and see
America,
good positive
Josie also speaks French, by the way, America, just so you guys.
Sorry.
All right, so Houston, to wrap up our topic number one, your final thoughts.
You know, I think there's definitely a lot of fears in terms of like what Josie was talking about, like this is our heritage, this is a cause that we can get behind, and there's a lot of joys out there. But you know, there's definitely like some fears that we have to address. Like, what is in the woods that's keeping you away? Is it the snakes? Is it the cicadas? Or is it the rednecks? You never
It's
know.
Al Ferguson.
Is it the rednecks? You never know. So, like, let's get out there. Let's have a good time. Let's take care of each other. And come on out. Like, last year, I did a whole series of hiking experiences in Cypress, Everglades National Park for the queers. For the people of color. So let's get on out there and let's face our fears and let's embrace our Mother Earth.
I agree, and definitely the people. Round of applause on topic number one, everyone. The comments are coming in. So the wise words to Houston: save the bush. If you guys want a private tour, Houston will happily, you know, show you some of the land and definitely take you on a tour. Just reach out to him,
and I'll make sure you come back.
Exactly. Snakes do not only belong on the plains; they are also in the woods. All right, so that is our topic number one. Round of applause, everyone, for topic number one. All right, let's keep this show moving. All right, so our next segment provides us with a few laughs and even some good side commentary. If it's happening in the news, if it's hot off the press, and being out is now the new in, then it's our happening out headlines, everyone. So I hope everyone's got their sheets of paper and a nice, big, thick marker. We're going to go ahead and talk about tonight's breaking news head story. Houston Cypress is celebrating the beauty of nature and the world around us and is excited to announce that they will be opening the United States' first queer national park. The park will feature all kinds of national treasures and maybe even a few naturalists. But what will this national park be called? So finish today's headline. Houston Cypress, in celebrating the beauty of nature and the world around us, is excited to announce they will be opening the United States' first queer national park. The name of his new park is called Blank. So, when everyone has their answers, raise your hand so we know everyone is ready to go. America, feel free to write in your comments. We'll go ahead and share as many of them as we can as possible. All right. Houston, you too. Make sure you have your answer down because we want to hear what you got to say as well.
Young Robert.
Oh, Robert. Just because we all love Robert. Robert wants to get it on this. So that's what wow. Yes, interesting it is indeed. All right, let's go ahead. Who wants to kick us off and start?
Oh,
but
all right, Josie. Wait, hold on. Let's get Josie on the screen. She's ready to get on that. So, Josie, what is the first national queer park going to be called? Tell us.
Oh, the Wonder World of Dreams and Pleasure Island.
Love.
The Wonder World of Dreams and Pleasure Island, everyone.
That's good.
All right, let's go to David Hopkins. Hopkins, what you got for us?
Sloppy Buttes, not fun.
National Sloppy Buttes Park, everyone.
Wow.
All right. Let's go to Al. Al, what is the name of the national first queer park?
Al's muted.
Oh, you're on mute, Al.
God.
Sorry. As Cypress knows, toxic white men have come to the Everglades and let go of their pet boa constrictors. And so Houston, to solve the problem, is going to have a new national park called Dances with Snakes.
Dances with Snakes. I see a trend here tonight with those snakes. All right, John Ho. What is the name of the first national queer park that Houston is opening up for us?
Where the boys are.
National Where the Boys Are Park, everyone. All right, Rossaroni, no pressure. What's the name of the first national queer park?
The Morning Wood.
That's good. That's good.
I love that.
And he wrote it on a very
If you have
expensive
Zelle.
piece of paper, I see, everyone.
Oh yes, it's a classy
PNC Bank.
bill that I haven't paid yet.
All right, Dr. Ty.
That's
give it to us.
So I'm going to go a little bit more serious, only because this is one thing that I absolutely love. He reminds us every week. Turtle Island, Rainbow Turtle Island. He always has it.
good. That's good.
For the turtles, everyone. That's right.
Love it.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, Darrell. Name of the first national queer park.
Running Bear.
And with that, I cut to David Hopkins' face.
Well, I mean, you already had mine, but the running bear butts, it can work.
All right, so they can coexist. All right, Power Infinity. What you got for our first queer park?
Magic Cucumber National Park.
Yes.
Does the size of the cucumber matter? Well, all cucumbers welcome.
Of course.
Of course.
All right, Houston,
All
before you
cucumbers
choose a
are
winner,
created
tell
equal.
us, what is the name of, what would you call your first national queer park?
Oh my gosh, she is ageist and demanding. She is young and faithful. Hey,
Young and faithful. Not oldie faithful, young
Those two
and
things don't
faithful.
often-
let me tell you, Sloppy Butts is coming in hot second. Fuck yeah.
Ooh. So wait, are you saying David Hopkins is the winner?
The sloppy
David
buttes.
Hopkins is the winner.
Floppy boots, how does it feel, David?
Kind of greasy and wet, but good.
Oh.
Greasy and kinda
Wah,
wet.
wah, wah.
Houston, was there a close
everyone.
third? Was there another one that tickled your cucumber, perhaps?
I'm sitting here teaching a 4th grade class, and they're listening to this conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. If they understand it, they're going to grow up to be fun people.
All right, this is great. We're just gonna have like a queer insurrection and take over all this shit. Come on, bro.
All right, we got Ben's Big NP. Any other ones? The post-pandemic Bush Park.
Yes.
Queers Walk a Lot National.
All right, man.
I like it.
And of course, follow Chef Josie on all social media to stay on all top of all new
way to plug, Josie. Way to plug.
Hashtag
nice
you walk.
plug. Subtle. It was very subtle.
It was
What a
cool.
weird
Yeah,
name
cool.
for a park, though.
Listen, Josie is our special guest tonight, so she can do no wrong, everybody. That's
Yeah.
Josie, everyone.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
That is Josie, everyone. All right, let's give it up for happening headlines, everyone. All right, and Sloppy Boots.
Buttes.
Boots, Sloppy Boots. All
That's
right.
the funny thing. That's the funny thing. David's title and everyone else's interpretation are both completely incorrect. It's Buttes.
Buttes. Oh, look at them showing Josie some love. Hashtag Bulls and Pearls.
Bubbles and pearls.
Guys, love
All right,
you
let's
guys.
show the love and keep this party going. All right, so
And
it's
then
time
we
to
go
get our
to-
LGBTQ community members involved in the conversation tonight here on Gay Town Hall as they submit their videos to ask our alive question of the day. So Josie was our question of the day for last week. Today we have a surprise question that is submitted specifically, chosen for, and directed towards the lead to answer. That person who submitted the video question will hopefully appear, if time allows, as a special guest host to be invited on and participate in a future episode of Gay Town Hall. So I went ahead and, fished around, fished in the rivers and the streams, and I chose a special Alive Question of the Day video. This comes from Daniel Aguadelo. He is a National Park Ranger for the Everglades National Park. Now I know a few people in our Gay Town Hall audience are going to jump through the screen and say, well, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this nice and respectful here at Gay Town
No,
Hall,
we're not.
and we're gonna hear
Is this
what our
new? Is
video
this a new
alive
rule?
question is for Houston. So Houston, this question is for you.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm Daniel, and thanks for your time. I've got a question for you. Are you hopeful for this new ongoing current administration's approach to Native Americans and the acceptance and acknowledgement of tribal sovereignty? In other words, are you happy that finally there is going to be a new Secretary of the Interior? And this Secretary of the Interior is Ms. Deb Haaland, who would be, if confirmed, the first Indigenous American leading the Department of the Interior. Are you happy? Are you hopeful? Are you optimistic that this will help with tribal partnerships? It would help empower tribal communities and things like that? I really hope she does get confirmed. She'd be my boss. Thank you so much.
All right, so Houston, that's from a National Park Ranger at Everglades National Park.
Oh my God.
Are you blushing, Houston? Are you blushing?
Like, I got distracted. Like, what did he say? Like,
We're all blushing.
like, oh my God. But
Hey, I
like,
try to pick some of the best video questions out there. So Houston, what do you got to say for Daniel?
you want to talk about colonization? Let's talk about colonization. But you know what? Like, honestly, like, it's been a very difficult and complicated relationship that Indigenous people have had with the Department of Interior and with the National Park Service, because like these national parks were created because the Indigenous people were there. Like the presence of Indigenous people was one reason why these places were advocated for preservation and conservation. But once these national parks were created, our people were kicked out. Like even here in the Everglades National Park, my ancestors and my grandparents remind me to remind you that my ancestors were kicked out of the park at gunpoint. But saying that and talking about this difficult history with the national parks, there is hope. Like we can move forward if we sit down at the table and talk to each other. So when I look at this current administration, the Biden administration, and see what he's doing by nominating Deborah Haaland, one of the first Indigenous people with such a high-ranking position in federal government, it gives us hope because we have people that understand where we're coming from, that understand what we're standing for, and so like I think that this is going to be an opening for deep and meaningful discussions. So it gives me hope, but even though we're still working with a colonizing, very difficult situation with America. But yes, it gives me hope, and I'm hopeful to work with the United States, the people that are appointed. So let's do it. Let's sit down at a table, let's have difficult conversations, and let's hash some shit out for positive change for our people. I'm hopeful. Let's do it. And take my number down.
Houston, I've never
If
seen this
anybody has
side of you
never
before.
If anybody has never been camping, I have.
I would expect this from like John or David or Ty, but Houston, I'm taking that a little bit. So I am gonna do my very best, and he can't promise that he'll be on the show because he actually works the overnight shift in Everglades National Park on Thursdays.
Good to know.
So Houston, if you ever are off on Gay Town Hall on a Thursday, he works the night shift over in Everglades National Park.
Hey.
Well, let's give a huge round of applause for Daniel, our National Park Ranger, for his question of the day for Houston. Amazing question, everyone. All right, so we are going to jump on into topic number 2. So now it's about business and political, the wind. The colors of the wind. And this is about the winds of climate change. And Houston is going to talk to us a little bit about his topic on the wind. So Houston, take it away.
All right, cool. So this second conversation is about the winds of change, specifically climate change. And these winds are upon us. So what are we as LGBTQ citizens and rabble-rousers doing to prepare for what climate change has in store? I mean, like, none of us here are experts, but we certainly know how to take care of our own. Like the HIV/AIDS crisis that definitely proved to us that we can create meaningful networks of support. We take care of each other. And as innovators in business, innovators in cultural production, how do we view the mitigation strategies that's provided by high finance? Like, what I'm asking is, should we be making a profit on survival tactics? And since capitalism is what got us in this mess, is capitalism what gets us out of this mess? Is the current political climate capable of handling what we as LGBTQ people gotta say? So are they ready for us? Are we doing enough? Are the gays oblivious? Let's dive in.
All right, so the question is on the winds of climate change and our political climate. Who wants to kick this topic off?
Well, I'll start with the whole capitalism thing. I think capitalism got us into this, but I think it can get us out. I think that we're just not properly accounting for inputs and outputs, right? So if you spew carbon into the air, you need to pay for that, and you need to be charged for that. And the whole carbon credits needed to be in place in the United States years and years ago. So yeah, and any natural resources you use, the government shouldn't just give them to you. You should have to pay for those. And so that skews, capitalism has skewed that by taking natural resources for free and then just spewing their dirt into the air. So capitalism can fix it if it's regulated properly.
Well, but no. See, I'm gonna try and disagree here in an intelligent way, because capitalism got us into this problem, and if it gets us out of it, it's only going to do so because it supports capitalism. What we need is a radically new way of perceiving who we are in the world and what we do in the world. We need to stop thinking about ourselves as being part of a profit machine and start thinking of ourselves as being part of a natural system that we contribute to and that we benefit from. And if we start to realize that system, then we'll start to overcome these green issues that we have found ourselves in because of people who exploit the natural resources.
So just to counter that, I just want to say, what's easier to do? Use the current system that everyone's involved in to change the inputs and outputs, or to get everyone to change their mind to think the way you just said?
So I think the issue here, John, is not that it's what's going to work better. The issue is we don't change anything if we stick with the system we have. All we do is we punt and we push it down the road and we change the discussion to something else. If we really are committed to this, it takes a radical shift.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that capitalism can be maneuvered for the incentives to be proper for the environment.
So let me ask you, because like as a queer person, I'm really proud of our queer contributions to the culture. Like the broader society follows our lead as queer people. Like they gobble up our culture, they gobble up our music, they gobble up our content, but are they really listening to us in terms of like what we're trying to say, critiquing this system? Are they going to follow our lead as queer people, or are queer people oblivious?
Yeah, I'm not even sure we're leading at this point, are we?
I don't think so either, yeah.
You know, I am happy to see the past few decades there has been an increase in ecotourism and the popularity of that. People are getting out there to enjoy nature in its own, under its own rules. But until people understand what nature even is, they're not going to care about it. And so many people, especially in the queer community, live in these, urban and suburban bubbles, and they have no clue what the wilderness is like and what we are doing to nature. And, they haven't seen a forest that's been chopped down for lumber and hasn't been replanted. And until you've seen the impact of that kind of thing, it's hard for people to care about it.
And mostly because we're too selfish.
But yeah, exactly.
Thank you, because Al, you highlighted a great point. Because like when I listen to my elders in my community, the indigenous people of this land, like the question they always ask us is, what are you willing to give up forever to save the world? And like, are we willing to have some meaningful change as queer people, as LGBTQ culture? Like, what's up with that? Like, what are you willing to give up to save the world?
If I can observe, we're seeing a couple of positive changes, unlike anything that we've ever seen in climate. We pulled out of Paris over the last 4 years. There were some moves there. But we have seen a couple of really big changes. One of which is John Kerry is now basically the climate czar. He is in position in the new Biden White House to make the link that climate is a national security issue. Okay. And the value of doing that is to say from the White House, we're going to basically push forward whether you are going to be selfish or not selfish in terms of climate, because it's such an important issue for national security. And I think that that's a big sign. We're also seeing, in terms of capitalism, dramatic changes. Many of you probably do not remember or know that we had electric cars in the 1970s.
Yes.
The industry that destroyed the electric car, we should all be completely electric in 2020. Yes. The reason we're not is because combustible companies, which are Fords, General Motors, and Chryslers, destroyed the electric industry in 1970s. We have seen dramatic change even in the last 12 months. Some of those changes included Amazon, which said as Amazon's going to become the biggest delivery system in the world. It's estimated they're going to be bigger than FedEx and UPS combined. And Amazon is going to go completely electric in their delivery system in the next 10 years. We have also seen even the greatest offenders of climate negative effects, which is combustible engine products. What does that mean? That means cars. Cars are the #1 contributor to climate problem in the world. And who are the biggest productions of that? GM, Ford, used to be Chrysler. And both GM and Ford have said, you know what? We kind of figured out that we should have electric cars. And somebody like Elon Musk has pushed them and said, here, we'll give you the battery technology, but make your own cars. And now GM and Ford have said in the next 10 years, in the next 6 years, 60% of all of the vehicles that we make are going to be electric. And in the next 10 years, we don't even think we're going to sell a combustible engine vehicle. Capitalism can help get us out of this problem, but we've got to embrace and push our capitalist institutions, because me jumping an aluminum can in the trash can is a start, but it really is a pie in the sky commitment in terms of the overall effect of what we need in climate. Our voice of where we're going to buy and spend our money is a far greater implementation of climate change.
And you know, Al, I'm really thinking about like queer leadership on this issue, because in the intro I brought up the fact that the HIV/AIDS crisis showed us that we can create meaningful networks of support. And what I'm talking about is the fact that we, as queer people, have innovated. For example, the hospice movement. But when we think about like the impacts to marginalized communities that climate change is going to bring, it's going to hit the most vulnerable of our community, the trans people, the people of color. So what is the leadership that we can depend on in terms of the queer community?
I apologize, but jumping right back in just for one more second to your question. Do you know who the #1 voice over, certainly in 21, but the next 4 years? And it's going to be, and the #1 voice is going to be answering Houston's question, a queer voice. And that is going to be the new Secretary of Transportation, Buttigieg.
That's right.
And what he is going to say is, look, we've got to have infrastructure. We've got to improve our roads. We must be more efficient in our transportation. And in our efficiency, we achieve climate neutrality in our combustion and other related climate issues. And interesting, Houston's question is the #1 voice arguably in America and maybe the entire world is going to be a queer person in terms of climate.
Yes.
And Josie, I'd like to bring you in as our guest host. What's your view or opinion on, or if any, on climate change, and how do we fix all this?
Yeah, I think Al brings up a great observation in recognizing who our next, head of transportation is going to be during this administration. Pete Buttigieg, we have an LGBTQ ear at the table right now who recognizes, and I truly believe that he has a conscious approach to this topic. Guys, climate change is not just a conversation. Climate change is a conversation between life or death for the human race, and that's really what we have to remember. We start to hear, we think environmentalists are these like crazy people, tree hugging crazy vegetarians or whatever, but the reality of it is I'm not even going to tell you how old I am, but I remember
let me
tell. No,
wait,
don't.
I was going to say a tree joke.
Don't.
Count the rings, and
yeah, don't. Anyways, the reality of it is that as a little girl, I have seen, a day at the beach turn into like, I'm Puerto Rican, Italian, Filipino. I can stay out at the beach usually all day long, not even a drip of sun block. But now it's like, that sun feels like it's baking me. I know people in my life who are suffering from skin cancer. We're seeing the air quality, the drinking water. We're seeing a breakdown of the essential, pieces that help the human race continue to be sustainable. If we're not adapting and really grabbing on to this idea of environmental conservation, then climate change is the least of our worries.
All right, and Houston, well said, Josie. To wrap up, your final thoughts on topic number 2.
I think as difficult as the situation can be, again, we can rely on our queer ingenuity to do this. Like we have done it before. We embrace our community and we show up for each other, and that's what gives me hope. So let's get to it. Let's get to work, and let's build the world that we're looking forward to.
All right, everyone, let's give a round of applause for topic number 2, everyone. The wind, colors of the wind. All right, so now we're going to have a little bit more fun. We're going to do a little one-on-one action since, Houston's gotten a little bit flushed in the face this evening. All right, so we're going to jump into who likes the big D here. I know, unfortunately, Amber, good luck with your show tonight, but who likes the big D here? Anybody?
I mean, you can't spell Dave unless you start with a big D.
This is true, but is it a lowercase d or it's an uppercase D?
Lowercase.
It starts.
Depends on the day of the week.
It starts uppercase, ends lowercase.
It depends on how much.
Lowercase, it wouldn't be.
Please don't let the caller disturb you.
It depends. It depends on how many blue pills he uses.
Anyway, on that note, well, think of this segment as a gay Mortal Kombat of size versus matter, fact versus fake news, and lead host versus host. This is a one-on-one discussion or debate, but in the end, they need to both make a decision and say why. Prepare to clear out the virtual room for our next segment we like to call the Big D. So the Big D tonight is going to have, our lead host will have 3 uninterrupted minutes to discuss and or debate a specific topic with another gay town hall host, but ultimately make a decision on their answer choice and explain why. Both hosts will continue to deliberate back and forth on a certain topic chosen until time is up. Afterwards, the remaining hosts will come back into the room afterwards and deliberate their final thoughts on what the Big D host had to say. So tonight's Big D is going to be featuring our two-spirit gay Native American, Houston Cypress, versus our queer minister, Reverend Dr. Jarrell Watkins. So we are going to go ahead and clear out the room, everyone. So stay backstage and keep your thoughts to yourself or write them in the comments.
I will.
Can't keep
Right. I'm intimidated by Reverend Doctor.
All right, so our topic for tonight is going to be about the gay outdoors in film and TV. Which is better? So let me go ahead and pull that up on the screen for you guys. Give me 1 second. The power of virtual.
The big D.
The big D. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clear out the room. So remember, there's going to be one thing versus the other. You guys have to have a discussion, decide on one or the other, and explain why. And then we'll move on to the next slide. After you guys are done, we'll bring everybody back into the room, right?
Okay.
All right, let's do this. All right, everyone, let's get the big D going. Starting
now. Houston.
All right, cool.
You're in charge.
Gay outdoors in film and TV, which is better? Like one of the first comparisons that I wanted to offer was this film by Ang Lee, Brokeback Mountain, compared with this other beautiful film known as God's Own Country. And if you have not had the opportunity to see either of these two films, I think one of the first things that we can talk about is a matter of scale. Like Brokeback Mountain features these amazing landscapes that talk about the fields, the mountains, the agricultural and cowboy situation that Ang Lee portrays in Brokeback Mountain. But then when we go over to Across the Pond and we see this UK-inspired production known as God's Own Country, like it's a smaller scale, and we're talking about farms, we're talking about goats, and we're talking about shit like that. So it's like a very scaled down version. Like that's one thing. Like how big is this land that we're talking about? Number one. And then like, is it sexy? Is it kinky? Like what kind of sex are we looking forward to? Because like I know what I like to view, and I like a little bit of titillation. I like a little bit of sex and fun. And when we talk about the sex in terms of Brokeback Mountain and the sex in God's Own Country, how dirty is it? So like we can look at the tent invasion scenario of Brokeback Mountain, or we can look at this like dirty farm hookup in God's Own Country. So like which do you like? Do you like clean, manicured in the tent sex, or do you like in the mud, in the dirt, God's Own Country fellatio? That's the other point. And I guess like finally, like in terms of like television, we're comparing Schitt's Creek versus Sense8. Like it's all about the one-liners. Like Sense8, it has these amazing set and setting, but like Schitt's Creek is all about the one-liners, honey. So like if I was going to choose between Brokeback Mountain and God's Own Country, it's on the Brokeback. And if it's Schitt's Creek or Sense8, it's on Schitt's Creek, honey. So let's see what you got, Rev.
Well, I know we should be contentious or whatever, but I don't disagree with anything you said. The one guy from God's Own Country plays the Prince of Wales in the third and fourth seasons of The Crown, and I can't even take him seriously as the Prince of Wales because all I kept thinking is, you are so much more well endowed than the Prince of Wales could possibly be. You know what I mean? But we know that from God's Own Country. But no, I don't know. Like if it's me in the bush or in the bedroom or whatever, yeah, just get filthy, whatever. But on film, I like a little class. I do. So the tent scene in Brokeback Mountain, and just all the glances and the hand holding and the jealousy when what's his name goes to Mexico to get his freak on or whatever. The sweetness of that, or when he goes to see the parents and sniffs the jacket, that gets me. So Brokeback Mountain is the winner between those two, and Schitt's Creek is the winner on the TV. But I would like to add a third film into the discussion, and that is Big Eden. Now,
Ooh.
Big Eden
does not have a super hot sex scene, but it has so much romance and so much heart-to-heart connection and sweetness and the beauty of Montana and this super hot guy who's always been there, and then the kind of nerdy guy who comes back, but when they're together, they're hot together. So I do not want to leave out Big Eden
in the discussion. I just think it's one of the sexiest, sweetest films, and showing the beauty of Montana while they're at it that there is.
All right, so now we're looking at Moonlight versus Watermelon Woman. And like, okay, so are we gonna uplift like women on screen, or we're gonna uplift men on screen? But like, I think I'm gonna like kind of be like the film school nerd in terms of like the film history references that Moonlight evokes. Are we gonna evoke like Asian cinema and the color palette, or what does Watermelon Women have to offer aesthetically? So I'm on the side of Moonlight.
Yeah, because we're talking about I mean, the big story and the big everything. Yeah, you could make a case for either, but just the physical aesthetics, the nature part. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I wish we could disagree. I wish we were having a horrible, ugly fight, but sorry, I just think you're right about everything.
I mean, like when it comes to television, love Simon, love Victor. I'm petty. I'm petty, and it's all about the eyebrows for me. Love Victor. Give me some big witty eyebrows.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. I haven't seen Love Victor, so I'm coming to a gunfight with a knife, I'm afraid, with this one. But Love Simon is amazing. So I just have to be with the one I know because I haven't seen Love Victor yet.
It was cute. It was cute. I don't know. Like Love Simon was super cute, but it left me like wanting something at that. My Little Pony versus Care Bears. My Little Pony is super gay. I'm down for My Little Pony.
But again, I got to add a third one. Super Drags. Have you seen Super Drags?
Oh. Yeah, let's complicate
Yes.
This. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And as I introduce Super Drags, I have to say Super Drags blows everything else away. I'm all about the Super Drags.
Oh my God. Yes. I just recently had the immense pleasure of watching Two Eyes at a film screening by the local LGBTQ advocacy organization, Unity Coalition. Shout out to Unity Coalition. They brought this film to Miami a couple of months ago, and it was such a masterpiece of filmmaking. I don't care about cowboys. I'm down with Two Eyes. It featured two spirit characters. It showed three storylines, three characters over three different time periods. It was a masterpiece. Down with Two Eyes. Fuck cowboys.
Well, I do agree with Two Eyes. I might not be so mean about cowboys, but I do agree with Two Eyes.
Ooh, Pose versus Vita. I'll be honest, I ain't seen Vita, but I'm down with Pose. Give me some Dominique Jackson. Thank you.
Pose gives me life. And let me tell you why, because I'm an old bitch. And Pose takes me back to a time that I lived through. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, Pose is everything.
But let me tell you, like, we need more LGBTQ representation in the media. So, like, as much as we've had fun, like, debating the merits of these films and these projects, like, as long as we can get more LGBTQ representation in the media, two-spirit representation, let's show how fabulous we are as queer people on screen and in our lives. I am here for it.
Absolutely.
All right. So that was an extensively long Big D. Thank you to Houston and Darrell. So now we're going to bring the rest of our hosts that are here to briefly just give your 2 cents on this variety of gay or queer film or television. So let's go ahead with the first one. All right. So Brokeback Mountain versus God's Own Country.
Brokeback.
God's Own Country was amazing, and it was very relatable for me as someone who'd been in the closet for a while, coming to terms with things.
Brokeback.
For sure.
Schitt's Creek
Bareback
versus
I know. I think
Sense8.
this is a generational conversation. That's why I think Brokeback is like winning in this conversation because, you know, all of us are a little bit older.
What you
All right.
talking about, Willis?
So Schitt's Creek versus Sense8.
Oh, Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek.
When he starts singing Tina Turner, I was bawling. I was like, oh my God, would somebody do that for me?
Oh my God. This is probably one of the best TV shows written for television in a long time.
Yeah.
And the fact that the episodes were like 30 minutes was even better. Like small little spurts of brilliance and boom.
Which one? Schitt's Creek, Josie?
Yeah, Schitt's
Yes.
Creek.
Yeah, they actually on the first television show ever, I believe it was at the Emmys, they got Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress all in the same award.
Well, the whole Levy
Yeah, but-
family is amazing. So
But can we still give a shout out to Sense8 with all that menage a
Yeah.
trois and all that group that they
The
had
hot
going
tub
on?
scene.
The most expensive
Yes, that
show.
hot tub scene, honey.
It was the most expensive show produced on television.
Sense8's the kind of show I would have watched back before the internet offered me.
All right, so for POC, people of color, Moonlight versus the Watermelon Woman, man versus
Moonlight.
Moonlight was amazing.
Right.
I haven't seen any of them, but I like watermelon, so
Moonlight was beautiful and heartbreaking and everything. It was,
Moonlight broke a lot of records. Watermelon Woman was the first film to feature, I believe, pretty much a lesbian in the main role. She was the first lesbian director. They both were very, very big in both of their categories in the film world. Love Simon versus Love Victor, the movie, which was one of the first gay teenage heartthrobs movie with a white actor, and then the TV show featuring a Hispanic actor.
Love Victor.
I'm a bad gay. I haven't seen either one.
Love Victor also got nominated for every award you could think of, where Love Simon did not.
I didn't see any one of them.
I'm not gay. I don't watch this shit.
Me and Tyler, we're not watching that.
I'm just embarrassed that
Not
I haven't
watching
seen
RuPaul.
Love Victor yet.
Oh my
Love
God.
Simon is amazing. If you've never seen it, they literally call it the first gay teenage heartthrob movie. It's really, truly amazing. All right, the gay, actually, My Little Pony featured two same-sex ponies, I guess, that liked each other, and obviously the Care Bears have been rumored for many, many years.
I had
Care
every
Bear.
Care Bear when I was a kid. I had them all, so I'm all Care Bears.
Yeah,
Well,
Care Bear
I'm
Nation right here.
I'm all about My Little Pony because when I was a little kid, I found one and I used to brush its hair and I would style it. And so because it has that hair that you can brush and style, I'm all about My
Yeah.
Little
Is that why your drag does not include hair?
Pony. It does sometimes.
All right, festival films. Both were at Outshine, and then one of them was a partnership with Unity Coalition. Two Eyes versus Cowboys.
I haven't.
So just so you guys have a point of reference, both feature trans characters in them. Cowboys was played in Fort Lauderdale, where the son is actually a trans boy, and the father is running away cross country to let his son be free. And Two Eyes is a triptych movie which features three different stories dealing with bisexuality, queer, trans, gay, everything in one feature film.
Is he setting his son free into the woods? Like
No, they're running away. They're running away from the cops because the mother won't let the son be his true self.
Well, I didn't see any of them, but the one that says Two Eyes, it has two shirtless guys and they look hot, so I'm gonna go with that one.
I think the one's like 12.
I highly recommend if you
I'll
never
watch
seen
it
them,
with you, Power.
if you haven't seen them, they're two big feature films that were featured at drive-ins with Outshine Film Festival. Definitely check them out. Last, Pose versus Vita.
Oh my God.
Pose is so everything.
Yeah, I love Pose so much, and I love Vita. So I don't even know in this situation. But Pose is so
David spotlights
weird.
people who've been in the dark about exposure and acknowledgement for a long time. So
last week at Queer News Tonight, we reported the new survey report by GLAAD. And GLAAD indicates where we are sitting in film and television in terms of queer representation. And GLAAD reported that for 2020, it was the first year in the last 5 years where there was not an increase in representation in the queer community as characters in film and television. We had actually declined by 12%. And they indicated that the queer community was took the hit for COVID. That because of COVID, the result was, well, we're going to cut places to make it easier. And one of the places, it will come as no surprise, was queer and Black. And there was a reduction in both areas because of COVID in 2020. Shonda Rhimes was called out as being the only straight production director, producer to actually have growth in 2020. And then she tweeted out to every other producer in Hollywood of saying, hey, what's going on here? I shouldn't be the only one that is committed to the queer and Black community. But we are declining.
All right. Well said, Al. All right, our final topic of the night. We are there. This is going to be our roundtable discussion topic of the night. So each of you will only get one and only 1 minute to talk about our final topic of the night. This is called FIRE. It's our personal story or experience, and it's FIRE, Psychedelics Spark Community. So Houston, take us through our topic of FIRE.
Cool. So friends and family, just like when we look back at history, we can look at heroes like Harry Hay. Harry Hay is a queer elder whose encounters with peyote influenced his creation of an early queer support group that was known as the Mattachine Society. But long before that, our two-spirit ancestors guarded for thousands of years the sacredness of indigenous practices that incorporate sacred plant medicines. But in recent times, people like Richard Alpert, you may know him as Ram Dass, he contributed to the psychedelic revolution of the 1950s and 1960s, which is coming to fruition now. So today, we're witnessing the incredible progress of integrating these gifts of the earth in science, in medicine. What I'm talking about is MDMA, or ecstasy, for veterans. I'm talking about ketamine for depression. I'm talking about DMT in the jungles of the Amazon. So maybe you've had magic mushrooms. Maybe these were an excuse to have a good time at a festival with friends. But let's talk about these psychedelic experiences. Let's talk about the fire of the gods. And let's talk about how they've left an indelible mark on our lives. Trip reports, medicine, massive scale rollout of psychedelics in society. What do you got for me? Let's go.
All right, so this is going to be our roundtable discussion. Everyone is going to get just 1 more minute. And we are going to start off with John Holt. So John, the bell is here, and take us through psychedelics.
I've never done psychedelics. I would love to do DMT sometime. But I'm very happy to see that they are coming back and are no longer being scared of, and they're going to be made legal and be used for health issues. So I'm happy that we're beginning to embrace the goodness of psychedelics.
All right, let's go to Power. Talk to us about psychedelics.
Well, I don't know psychedelics, but I know as a circuit performer, I've been higher than a giraffe's pussy. And, I can tell you that. I can tell you right now.
How high is a giraffe?
I can tell you right now a little story. I was in Detroit once for a circuit event that I was hosting, and it was a party weekend, and me and some boys got together and we were doing some K. And I do remember that we ended up having sex. Sex on K is not really recommended because you could be like me and fall into a K-hole when somebody's shoving their dick down your throat and then end up not being able to breathe or tell the person to get their dick out your throat.
Oh my God.
And this is a true story.
So,
oh my God.
Yeah, so I've definitely had some experiences on psychedelics and rolling and on high drugs. But hey, I'm still here to talk about it, to teach and to educate. So just take it from me.
All right. Let's have Al follow up on that one. Al, have you been in any?
Yeah.
Al, have you been in any of those
Al,
shows?
I want to hear this.
And one time at Sawmill Camp.
Right, fan camp. In the last 5 years, it's going to surprise all of you. I made a very specific commitment to try psychedelic drugs, LSD especially. And I did it in the last 5 years because I did not understand why in all previous years of my life I hadn't tried it to see what it was like. And you know what I found out? It was absolutely fantastic. And what I found out was it was absolutely fantastic because approaching it in a way of going, I want to learn, I want to see, I want to experience, and with friends that I could trust, It was a great experience. And I have done it a number of times since. I would highly recommend to John Holt, who just said he is not. I would recommend, I would do it with you, or in terms of being a mentor for you, of being safe, if that's what the issue was. You should try it. Everyone should try it and see what the experience is like. You would learn a lot about yourself in doing it. And because of that, I encourage you to do it.
And I'm sure someone who has a psychedelic t-shirt in their closet. David?
I actually don't. I tried psychedelics for the first time just a month and a half, 2 months ago. I tried shrooms, and it was life-changing. I had been reading about shrooms being used to treat depression, which I've long had issues with. And it bears your ego and just makes you aware of yourself and everything around you in a way that's so hard to describe. And it gives you such a sense of empathy for everything around you. You can feel and understand things that you normally wouldn't let yourself. And it was an amazing experience, and I would happily do it again. It really was. Be careful, but there's countries you can go to where they're legal, like Jamaica, where they have resorts, where they have medical professionals who dose you to make sure you're safe and comfortable. And, if you don't feel comfortable breaking the law and doing it, try and get to one of those places, because
All right. Now, no judgment for the Reverend. Let's keep it real. What have you done?
Okay, hold on.
Wait. That's it.
Oh my goodness. You get an extra minute now.
You got an extra minute.
In the 80s, it was the 80s, we did everything. I did quite a few shrooms and LSD, a lot of psychedelics, not a single negative experience.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't do it anymore. I should do it. I'm embarrassed that I've succumbed to to convention or whatever. But no, it was in college, and it was mind expanding. And Timothy Leary and Ram Dass, they knew what they were doing.
Yes.
And if it's not for you, it's not for you, and whatever. But I just can't. I hate to think there might have been an experience I didn't try once in my life or whatever. So in the 80s I did, and not a single negative experience. I have nothing hateful to say about it at all. No judgment.
All right. And someone else who never judges, Dr. Ty.
So I've always been someone who thought that if something is natural or if it comes from nature, then it's fine. If you have to get too chemically processed, then I start to get a bit iffy about it. So I've had mushroom experiences, and I've had hallucinogenics, and much like Darrell, I've never had a bad experience. But I absolutely agree. You need to do it with people you feel safe with people who you know will take care of you, and why not? And there's also a great book out there called Whatever Happened to the Hippies. It might be out of print now, but you can probably still find it. It was part of my 1950s deviancy class, and it talks about the first hippies in California and how they did and tried all these things and how wonderful this utopia was for them until the government came in and busted them up.
All right, let's see. Do they know anything about psychedelics? they look a little psyched out at the moment. Rossaroni, either make us laugh or give us the tea.
I have no tea. I don't do that. I've not done any psychedelics, as bizarre as that sounds, because I would have pegged myself as somebody who does drugs, but I don't. The most I've ever done is Benadryl. No, I've done. I've had a cupcake, a weed cupcake, and I didn't know you weren't supposed to eat the whole thing or drink afterwards. And it was about this big,
Oh wow!
3 hours.
I could have told you.
I think it's so sweet that Ross Roney thinks weed's a psychedelic.
This is how I rang in the new year.
So this is why Rossaroni is the way he is today, because he ate that special cupcake.
I was like that way before. I'm so sorry to say. I have no excuse.
Actually, the first time you do weed after the last time you did LSD, you will have flashbacks.
Oh God!
All right.
Too late.
Our special guest host, tell us the truth, Josie. What's up? What's going on?
Okay, guys. So I'm just gonna let you know the truth. This past Tuesday, yes, just a couple days ago. I had a shaman in my backyard of my house, and I partaked, and I was a part of a ceremony. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. For anyone who's even thinking about this, plant medicine is not about getting high. There are plenty of people out there in the world who can get you high. This is not about that. This is about a spiritual surgery, a spiritual journey. This is about connecting with your ancestors. This is about looking deep inside yourself, into your subconscious, and connecting with your subconscious and your consciousness. This is about going deeper than maybe you want to go. And the reality of it is I've been plugging a link because my shaman, Dylan Hoffman, is like the man. And the ceremony that we went through, there's not enough time in a minute to tell you everything about this experience. But if you want, you can hit me up at Chef Josie on all the social media accounts, and I'd love to tell you about it. But let me tell you, we all need to reconnect and align our subconscious with our consciousness and get connected to what is really happening.
And Josie, I think some of our fans want to know, are there any special ingredients in the kitchen at Bubbles and Pearls that may enhance your psychedelicness?
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, guys. I am gearing up when cannabis is legal in Florida. Okay, because we will be cooking. We do cook with CBD right now, and we make cocktails with CBD. But if you want to go a little bit further.
Town Hall, you heard it here first. Josie, she's going to take care of you. Real good, real good. All right, so Houston.
Friends and family, like I'm really happy that Chef Josie had those final remarks, because we as a society need to reckon with these incredible medicines that are going to come online for us right now. We need to figure out how we're going to introduce these into our society, and I think Chef Josie has the right sentiment. So much respect, Chef Josie. I love you.
All right. And that takes us through our final topic of the night. Round of applause for topic number 3. All right. So before we say good night, we're going to find out from our Gay Town poll. Who do you guys think won? What do you think is the win in place?
Asheville.
I hope Asheville.
Probably Asheville.
Or Salt Lake City, because I like gingers.
Should be the Berkshires, but
I've been to Asheville and Blue Ridge, Georgia. I like Blue Ridge.
The moment of truth has come forth. What is your top LGBTQ destination to travel to and experience the great outdoors in? So let's go ahead and pull it up on the screen here. Give me 1 second. Let's find out who the winner is. And remember, Happening.Travel is going to be launching on Monday with David and Faye and Al. So everyone, please make sure you check out our Happening.Travel for all your outdoor needs. And the winner is, where are you? There you are. Asheville, North Carolina. 33% of you voted for Asheville, North Carolina, with a 3-way tie between Blue Ridge, Georgia, Umpqua National Park in Oregon, and Hudson, New York. Are you guys?
Everyone wants to go along the Hudson line, Hudson River.
Oh, poor West Virginia and Utah.
But does Gay Town Hall match up with what America actually voted? So let's go ahead and find out from America. Let's pull that up as well. And America voted for.
There's something there.
I love ties.
All right, so number 10 was the Berkshires.
Woo-hoo!
Number 9 is Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
They can see Russia from there.
Number 8 is Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Blue Ridge, Georgia is so beautiful.
Let's see if Asheville's number 1 with the gays. Number 7, Lost River, West Virginia.
That's where Al grew up.
Number 6, Salt Lake City.
That's where he died.
Number 5, Umpqua National Forest.
Wow.
Asheville was not number 1. Number 4. Number 4 for Asheville.
Why are they going to talk about nature and post a picture of the city?
Number 3, Bozeman, Montana.
Oh my God, Bozeman's a pit.
It's in Montana.
And that'll be the first episode of Happening Not Travel, everyone. Bozeman, Montana.
Yeah, right.
Number 2, Boulder, Colorado.
Love Boulder.
Number 1.
No one has a problem with Colorado.
Oh, this was dominated by the Northeast.
Number 1,
Yeah.
Hudson.
No way. No
That's
way.
where the gays want to go. It's Hudson.
Oh, wow. That's
So beautiful.
So the gays definitely need to watch Happening Out Travel because they need to learn better places to go.
Happening
That's-
Out Travel will be doing Hudson, New York as their second episode.
Yes, I'm going.
My
That's
mother
in
was
New York.
born in
I can give you a
Kingston on
tour.
the Hudson Slime.
That's
Alright,
in New York because
so-
I can be our guest host.
Did America get it right or not so much?
Not so much.
I'll give
Not
you a
so much.
tour of Hudson.
Not so
It'll
much.
change your mind forever.
All right. So with that said,
Three-eyed fish and all.
we've come to the end of our show. So we are going to be saying a good night from everybody. So let's go around the virtual room and let's start with good night from John Holt.
Good night, everybody. And can we go outside the United States to like Ibiza?
Love Ibiza. Love Ibiza.
All right. A good night from Al.
January 28, 1986, 35 years ago today, the Challenger exploded. 80% of the school children in America watched, including me. I remember.
All right. Well said, Al. Good night, America from
You were a sweet
Power.
child.
Good night, children. And in honor of this show and its topic, I just want to let everybody know that I was high as fuck the entire time.
And America, we will never be monetized. It is what it is. All right. A good night from David Hopkins.
Good night, everybody. Remember, celebrate the moment. Find pleasure in life. It includes finding pleasure in helping other people. Have a great night.
All right. It's all about the pleasure. Jarrell, good night from you.
Yeah. Good night, America, and rest in peace, Cloris Leachman and Cicely Tyson.
All
Yes.
righty. Dr. Ty, good night from you.
Peace out, bitches.
All you green swing whores.
Well spoken, Ty. Well spoken. And a good night. Let's see if he's awake or asleep from Rossaroni.
Hello? No, they all think I'm crazy. It's insane.
We don't think
Hold on, getting into the call.
it.
Hello? That's not funny either. Now they're insane.
So silly.
I think translation was he said good night.
Good night, you guys. Good night.
All right. And a special thank you to our special guest host, Chef Josie in the house. Woo!
Night, Josie.
Woo! And you got to say it over for Josie.
Yeah, I just want to say goodnight to everyone and just say this. I always say stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive. The world needs your positivity and your love and your presence. You matter. See you next time.
And the world needs your top chef quality
All right.
edibles.
And let's give a huge round of applause for our lead host tonight, Houston Cypress, everyone. Showing off the floros. Houston, wish a good night for everyone.
Yes, friends and family, I invite you to come explore the Florida Everglades with me. Hit me up. I am your Everglades concierge.
All right, Everglades concierge, everyone. With that said, I'm your social club butterfly, everyone. David Quiñones, thank you so much. Join us each and every Thursday. Next week is going to be with elimination. So, we're going to have some kinky leather experiences going on. With that said, we will see you all next time on Gay Town Hall. Good night, America.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.